Reports say China halts seafood imports from Japan and stops talks on beef importation. And U.S. Congress approves the release of the Epstein files. Good evening, and thank you for joining us. Political tensions between China and Japan are showing no signs of abating. Japanese media report that Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi may visit the Yasukuni Shrine at the end of next month. And Chinese media say if the visit takes place, it will create a storm. Danny Rao reports.
Liu Jinsong, Director General of the Asian Affairs Department of China's Foreign Ministry, held consultations on Tuesday with Masaki Kanai, Director General of the Asian and Oceanian Affairs Bureau of Japan's Minister of Foreign Affairs, who was visiting Beijing. The talks failed to ease tensions between the two sides. When asked whether he was satisfied with the talks, Liu said of course not. And he described the atmosphere as solemn. Some mainland analysts said that Japan's sending of a bureau-level official to China shows insufficient sincerity and makes it impossible to truly resolve issues. They say at least a heavyweight Japanese official trusted by the Chinese side is needed to put out the fire. Japanese Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi stated earlier that if a sudden military contingency were to occur in Taiwan, it could constitute a survival-threatening situation in Japan. China has repeatedly demanded a retraction of these remarks, but Japan has no intention of doing so, and Japan's Kyodo News believes this may prolong the tensions. Chinese ambassador to Japan Wu Jianghao is expected to meet soon with Japan's Vice Minister for Foreign Affairs Takehiro Funakoshi. Amid the growing tensions, some Japanese media outlets are speculating that Takaichi may choose December 26th to visit the Yasukuni Shrine in her capacity as Prime Minister, seen as emulating the late former Prime Minister Shinzo Abe's visit on December 26, 2013. Hu Xijin, former editor-in-chief of the Global Times, wrote that while it is not yet possible to confirm the authenticity of reports about Takaichi's visit to Yasukuni, if she takes this step, it would be a universally condemned move that will unleash an all-around tempest. He said it would thoroughly provoke China and South Korea and thoroughly reshape the geopolitical landscape of Northeast Asia. The People's Daily also commented that the poison Takaichi has injected into China-Japan relations must be resolved by her. At United Nations meeting on Security Council reform, China's permanent representative to the UN, Fu Song, said Japan is totally unqualified to seek a permanent seat at the Council. He said Takaichi's recent remarks constitute a gross interference in China's internal affairs and a serious breach of the One China principle and the spirit of the four political documents between China and Japan. Danaral TV News.
China is expected to announce a suspension of importation of Japanese aquatic goods as the diplomatic row between the two countries continues, according to Japanese media reports. Earlier, Beijing partially lifted restrictions on Japanese seafood placed 2 years ago after Japan decided to release treated wastewater from Fukushima power plant. Mimosanga reports.
In Guangzhou, some people think not being able to eat Japanese aquatic products is not such a big deal. One man said that Japanese aquatic products are not different from the Chinese ones. According to Japanese media, China will suspend the import of Japanese seafood products, while negotiations to resume the import of Japanese beef is also halted. In Beijing, when asked about the suspension, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs said those imports will not find a market in the country under the existing circumstances. Meanwhile, Japan has warned its nationals studying in China to beware of their safety. Outside this Japanese school in Huangpu, Guangzhou, a heightened level of security was spotted. A police vehicle was parked nearby, and police officers were around the place. School buses are the main transport method for students. Last year, 2 assault cases involving Japanese students were reported on the mainland. A 10-year-old Japanese boy died after being attacked by a knife. The continuous row between China and Japan also affects the business of Hong Kong travel agencies. A representative said that they noticed a drop of about 20% in inquiries from firms and social media related to Japanese travel products. They said some customers also wish to drop out from the Japanese tours that they had signed up. Number 9, TVB News.
The Epstein files are on the brink of release. U.S. lawmakers overwhelmingly passed a bill that will make the documents public after Donald Trump urged the House to do so. The president is unlikely to veto the release, which means they could be available as early as this week, once signed into law. David Garrett reports.
President Trump urged Republicans to back the vote for a release of the Justice Department's Jeffrey Epstein files. It passed virtually unopposed through the House and Senate.
On this vote, the yeas are 427, the nays are 1. 2/3 being in the affirmative, the rules are suspended, the bill is passed, and without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid on the table.
Emails, travel records, communications with officers, all likely to be released. Some items will be held back if they interfere with current investigations. Trump, under media scrutiny and pressure from his MAGA political base, changing his mind and ordering his party to vote with the Democrats to open the files.
Mr. President, why wait for Congress to release the Epstein files?
You're a terrible person and a terrible reporter. As far as the Epstein files is, I have nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein. I threw him out of my club many years ago because I thought he was a sick pervert. And I guess I turned out to be right. But you know who does have? Bill Clinton, Larry Summers, who ran Harvard, was with him every single night, every single weekend. They lived together. They went to his island many times. I never did.
Clinton denies knowledge of Epstein's crimes. His former U.S. Treasury Secretary and ex-president of Harvard, Summers, will step back from public duties after emails showed he maintained a friendship long after Epstein pleaded guilty to soliciting prostitution. The U.S. lawmakers who have sanctioned the release of more information about the disgraced financier say this is not about party politics.
Today, with this vote, we are finally putting these victims and these survivors of Jeffrey Epstein and the cabal of rich, powerful elites that expands not just here in the United States of America, but to other countries as well. We're putting them last.
This measure will see justice triumph over politics. Truth will triumph over deception and obfuscation. Transparency will triumph over dark money.
Know that the Senate has passed the bill under unanimous consent.
The victims of Epstein celebrated. Some had fought for decades for this moment, many saying they had given up.
I am thinking, it's all right, about Virginia Roberts-Giuffre. We would not be here without her. There is no doubt in my mind about that.
Giuffre, who committed suicide, arguably brought about the ordering of this release. David Garrett, TVB News.
Donald Trump clashed with a reporter after he and the visiting Saudi Arabia's crown prince were asked about the murder of journalist Jamal Khashoggi in the Saudi consulate in Istanbul in 2018. U.S. intelligence has found the de facto ruler of Saudi likely has some capability in the killing of the Washington Post reporter. Trump said the opposite, berating the questioner and defending his ally as Mohammed bin Salman responded.
You're mentioning somebody that was extremely controversial. A lot of people didn't like that gentleman that you're talking about. Whether you like him or didn't like him, things happen. But he knew nothing about it, and we can leave it at that. You don't have to embarrass our guest by asking a question like that.
It's okay, just you ask, Mr. President, if you allow me to answer. About the journalists, it's really painful to hear, anyone that been losing his life for, no real purpose or not in a legal way, and it's been painful for us in Saudi Arabia. We've did all the right steps of investigation, etc., in Saudi Arabia, and we've improved our system to be sure that nothing happened like that, and it's painful and it's a huge mistake, and we are doing our best that this doesn't happen again.
And still ahead, China denies UK MI5 spying accusations. New medical school targets students with biological sciences background. And a cold day for some, but others enjoy the breeze. Welcome back. Britain's domestic intelligence agency claimed Chinese spies were actively reaching out to recruit and cultivate politicians and others via headhunters or cover companies. The Chinese embassy in London dismissed the allegations as pure fabrication and malicious slander and warned the UK against further acts undermining bilateral relations. The Chinese Foreign Ministry in Beijing also hit back at the British claims. Danny Rao tells us more.
Writing to lawmakers, House of Commons Speaker Lindsay Hoyle said a new MI5 espionage alert claimed Chinese nationals were using LinkedIn profiles to conduct outreach at scale on behalf of the Chinese Ministry of State Security. Hoyle asserted their aim is to collect information and lay the groundwork for long-term relationships using professional networking sites, recruitment agents and consultants acting on their behalf. He said MI5 issued the alert because the activity was targeted and widespread. British Home Office Minister Dan Jarvis said that apart from parliamentary staff, others including economists, think tank consultants and government officials have been similarly targeted. Jarvis said the UK's government is rolling out a series of measures to tackle the risk, including investing £170 million to renew encrypted technology used by civil servants to safeguard sensitive work.
The government will continue to take further action against China-based actors involved in malicious cyber activity against the UK and our allies. This will form part of a broader campaign that the UK is delivering to disrupt and degrade the dangerous cyber ecosystem that China has allowed to take hold within its territory. Now, Mr. Speaker, let me assure honourable members that we will not shy away from using all the tools at our disposal, including sanctions, as necessary.
In Beijing, the Chinese Foreign Ministry also hit back at the British claims. Foreign Ministry spokesperson Mao Ning said Beijing firmly opposes such groundless speculation that projects one's own mindset onto China, and judgments made on false information will only lead to misleading conclusions. She added China has no interest in collecting UK intelligence. The Chinese embassy in London dismissed the allegations as pure fabrication and malicious slander, and warned the UK against further undermining bilateral relations. Dan Rao, TV News.
Hong Kong University of Science and Technology said that it will invest $7 billion in the next 25 years to develop the city's third medical school. The government announced yesterday that it will develop the medical school after winning a three-way bid that also features Polytechnic University and Baptist University. Momo Sangai reports.
In a press conference, HKUST President Lancy Ip provided details on the planning of the new medical school. The school will provide a 4-year program for students who already have degrees, aiming to admit its first group of 50 students in the 2028-29 academic year. Ip said the school hopes to provide more clinical experience for the students and are open to the application of technology. Speaking of the applicants' backgrounds, Ip said they will initially favor students with a background of biological sciences before expanding their enrollment to those who specialize in humanities and AI. She says students can opt for an academic or research career track upon graduation. The university also said that 6 clinical professors have joined the institution.
Of them actually, they have very strong research expertise. We are actually in the process of recruiting quite a large number of clinical faculty. We already received 36 letters of intent from interested faculty candidates from all over the world. The number will continue to expand.
Among the $7 billion fund which the university will invest in the medical school, $2 billion will be allocated to construct a medical complex building in Clearwater Bay. Professor Joseph Sum, a member of the medical school task group and a former president of the Chinese University of Hong Kong, said HKUST had shown in its proposal that it is ready to kickstart the establishment of the medical institution as soon as possible. Sum foresees the new school will provide diversity to the local medical field.
I would say that the medical knowledge that they acquire from this school, as well as the humanities background, will be very useful because we need doctors not just to be knowledgeable, but they also have empathy, professionalism, and among other virtues. If the graduates decided to pursue an academic career path, then with biological knowledge, as well as knowledge in technology will be very useful for them to develop their research.
Momo Sangai, TVB News.
Hong Kong woke up to the coldest morning of the fall season as a surge of the northeast monsoon sent temperatures tumbling. The observatory logged a low of 13.2 degrees Celsius in the urban areas, the lowest so far this autumn. Out on the streets, the temperature dip was unmistakable. Commuters layered up, bracing against the crisp, dry winds. Some senior citizens continued their daily exercise amid the breezier weather.
I feel really cold today. I've caught a cold. These last few days the weather's changed and it's brought a cold out and some flu symptoms.
It's too cold, so I have to get like 3 jackets and it's terrible.
For dress up, I think it's a bit cooler. Yeah, it's nice. It's up like layers, yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's quite nice still, but I don't want it to go colder than that.
I think it's a comfortable temperature. It's nice to wear like warm clothing outside instead of just shirts and stuff. So.
Under the influence of a northeast monsoon, the mercury at many districts plunged to a low of 12 to 13 degrees Celsius, with Chunwan logging the lowest at around 10 degrees and Taimushan reaching 3.2 degrees. The air also much drier, with the relative humidity slipping to about 40%. The weather forecaster says the cloud belt covering the coast of Guangdong will thin out over the next 2 days. Influenced by a spell of the dry monsoon, Hong Kong and nearby cities will become sunnier early next week with a notable temperature difference between day and night. The observatory's scientific officer says alongside the easing northeast monsoon, the temperatures will rise to about 15 to 16 degrees in the morning in the coming 2 days, with daytime highs reaching 26 to 27 degrees around Sunday and Monday. The Hong Kong Streetathon will be held on Sunday, and there will be road closures and special train arrangements by the MTR. The event includes a full marathon, a half marathon, and a 10-kilometer race, featuring over 20,000 participants. The full marathon starts near Hing Fat Street on the Eastern Corridor, crossing the harbour via the Eastern Cross Harbour Tunnel, going through the Central Kowloon Bypass, which will open next month, finishing near the intersection of the bypass and Yau Ma Tei. MTR trains will start service earlier to facilitate travel to Causeway Bay, with the earliest trains on the Tuen Ma Line and East Rail Line departing at 2:50 a.m. A government-initiated nighttime food waste collection truck has been operating in the Central and Western District for 1.5 months. This initiative has successfully collected 1,500 kilograms of food waste, meeting the government's expectation. Sakir Ib has the details.
Every night at 7:30 p.m., this truck arrives at Sai Ying Pun MTR station to collect food waste from the local community 7 days a week. Mr. Yu from the neighborhood found the new service very convenient, while another resident, Ms. Ho, said she prefers a fixed collection point at each building. From 6:30 to 10:30 every night, this recycling truck will stop by at 4 locations in Central Western District, including Sai Ying Pun and Kennedy Town. For each station, the truck will stay for around 45 minutes. Over the past month and a half, more than 1,600 residents have participated in the scheme, resulting in the collection of 1,500 kilograms of food waste, in line with the authorities' expectations. Senior Environmental Protection Officer Kenneth Tong explained that the pilot scheme was introduced in the Central and Western District due to a lack of food waste disposal facilities in private housing, despite significant community interest in recycling. He said the collection truck provides flexibility, allowing recycling across various areas of Hong Kong. Future plans will be considered about extending this initiative. In the recent policy address, there was a proposal to increase the number of smart food waste collection bins in residential areas, aiming for 1 bin per public housing block. Tong said 950 food waste collection bins have been installed across 218 public housing estates across the city. He added authorities are actively promoting the goal of 1 bin per block and are also adding smart bins in estates. He noted the overall daily collection of food waste in Hong Kong is 340 tons, with aspiration for further increase in the future. Sakuri, TVB News.
Before we leave you, please note that tomorrow's news at 7:30 will continue to start a little later at 9 p.m. So thank you for staying with us and good night.